Good day and welcome to our short explanation of how to clone your website and move it to a different host, specifically using a tool for WordPress called Duplicator. So let's get to it. So this is a website I need to move from one host to another. So I could migrate all of the files in the database, but it's a real pain to do that. So I'm going to use Duplicator and you'll see how easy it works. So what you do is go to your WP admin, sign in, which I've already done, so it kind of defeats the purpose. So sign in, there you go. And go to plugins, add new. Search on the top right here for Duplicator. You can see I've already done that, so I'm just going to type it in again because I'm moving a whole pile of domains. There's one, click install now. Doesn't take very long. Then activate it. And here's where you start getting questions, but there's really not much need for questions. It's pretty straightforward. So now you scroll down to Activator and you click, or Duplicator, sorry, and you click Manage. And basically you want to back it up. So you click Create New in the top right-hand corner. It's going to, if you read this, if you expand this, it's going to tell you where it's going to put it, and I don't care. So whatever you want to do is fine. Put it wherever you want, because I'm going to download it as soon as it's done. There we go, so it's going to scan the site. This is a small site, it won't take very long. This one's only about 5 pages. No posts. There we go, this pretty much always comes up with good from what I could tell. I have had a few warnings about size and things, but never a problem. So just click Next, or Build, I guess in this case. Something to note while we're waiting is it's always a good idea to make sure that your system is running as current a build as it can be, so not a great idea to try to back up an old site. You should get it running the most current version of WordPress that's possible, update your plugins, all of that stuff, just to smooth out any problems. So another thing is the PHP. You want to make sure that the destination and the source are similar. So here we are on our cPanel site, and the two things you want to look at briefly are your PHP level and make sure that zip is turned on or unzip for Duplicator to work. So pretty straightforward. Let's do the PHP one because it's most visible. Right, I just scroll down and you see select PHP version, and here it is, PHP version, and it defaulted in my case to 7.2. And that worked fine, but I had a number of incompatibilities, so I ended up rolling it back to 7.1 and 7, and then 5.6. The sites that were already there were 5.4. PHP, by the way, is just the underlying programming language that this stuff's written in, so you want to be as high a number as you can. So anyway, 5.6 in my case didn't seem to cause any problems, so I've left it. I'll figure out the two plugins I had troubles with. With the higher ones, I'll deal with those later. Right now I just want to get this moved over. Just to be clear, my old server was running PHP 5 point something. This is the new server is running 5 point something too, and that's good. Also in the same place, you'll see down here, these are all of the services that are available in PHP, and I had to turn on zip. It wasn't on by default, so just click that on. Let's get back and see if the process we're in, the step we're in right now is finished. Yep, it is. You have to download these two files. I don't know what this one-click download is. It probably is self-explanatory if I bother to read it, but it's so easy I don't bother. Just click on these, they download. In my case, I'm using Chrome, so they download at the bottom here. There they are. Those will be done in a minute. Now I don't have to wait. I'm simply going to go off to my other GoDaddy host here, and I'm going to set it up. Okay, so this is my new host. It's using cPanel, which in this case happens to be GoDaddy, but it doesn't make much difference. And there's really only two things I need to do here to migrate this WordPress site. The first is to go and create a database. This one I'm going to call, because it's for my buddy at West Creek Auto Wash, I'm going to call it West CR Auto Wash. Clever name, huh? And I'll click Create Database. Then I'll need to create a user for it. So scroll down, and in the same screen, and you can create a new user. I'm going to call this one the same thing, West CR Auto Wash. And the password I'm going to use, I'm going to have it generate a password. I'm going to click the copy this to a safe place. So I'm going to bring up text, this little notepad here. I'm going to paste it in. There it is. So I'll grade that out so you can't see it, but you know that it's there. Now I need to, so far I've created a database, I've created a user, and now I need to give that user permissions. Pretty straightforward. So I'm going to go to West Creek Auto Wash, and I want to give, oh, I haven't clicked create user yet. There we go. There we go. So now the user's created, and I will go down here and I will add the West Creek Auto Wash user to the West Creek Auto Wash database, and I will click add. And I need to give them all privileges. And go back. There we go. So now I've got a West Creek Auto Wash user and a West Creek Auto Wash database. That's easy. I'll go back to home. So I'm going to go down here and click add subdomains. Add-on domain they call it, and then it's going. This is West. It's case sensitive. Because it's in Linux in my case. If it's in Windows, if you have a Windows server you're working on, it won't make any difference, but in Linux it is case sensitive. Autowash.com, there we go. Tab out of that, it fills it in. Now I'm going to drag this over my FTP and show you that, because I've FTP'd into the back end here, and you can see that I have all of my websites stored in a folder called public HTML. It doesn't make any difference where you store them. You can put them wherever you'd like. That's just where I like them. So I'm just starting to migrate these over. There'll be a whole lot more of them here shortly. So, but you'll notice in particular there isn't one here called West Creek Auto Wash, but there will be in a minute. So I want that again to be in public HTML. So I'm going to do public_HTML / there it goes. And tab out of that, and I don't need to create an FTP site for it in my case. You could, but I don't need one. So I'm simply going to click Add Domain, and it'll take a minute. There it is. And now if I go back over here and I refresh, within a minute or so, we should see, there it is. Isn't that nice? So you'll remember from the earlier step that we downloaded those files. They're right here. Where did they go? Well, and I'm using Chrome, so I'm just going to click on it and say Show in Folder, and that's just going to take me out of my Downloads folder. And I created these two files. So now I need to move those into the FTP. It's pretty straightforward, really. Sorry, which one? There it is. So I'm going to move them into this West Creek Auto Wash folder. So I'm just going to drag them in. There we go. And the two files will take a minute to transfer. While I'm waiting for that to finish, I'm going to change the DNS now so that it points to the new server so I can get to it. So let's go to my DNS. Okay, so I'm going to go to my DNS on my new server, my new host, I should say, and this just happens to be the IP address that it needs to point to. So I want www and everything else to point to 107.181.207. So I'm going to click on this, and my edit. I'm going to paste that in, click Save, and bingo bongo, there it is. Now I don't want this 10,000 seconds thing. I like it to be a little shorter, so I'm just going to set that. You don't have to care about this, but I like the standard 1 hour, so I'm just going to set it to 1 hour. There we go. Anyway, that's all we need to do with DNS, and I'm going to see if this site is now kicked over. Just ignore this little error token mismatch. I like to use what's my DNS.net, and I'm just going to refresh this whole page because I've been off this for a while. So it's, yeah, there it is. So it's pointed at 107, 180. That's the new site. That worked pretty well. And that's because this is a tiny site that nobody's much using, so it updated globally very quickly. The sites that are more popular will take longer because their DNS is already cached, and depending on the time to live, it'll take a while for them to cycle. Again, you don't have to do this. You can just wait a minute or two. But at this point, I'm going to bring up a new tab. I'm going to go to www.westcreekautowash.com, my FTP. The only thing in here is this garbage that I've just uploaded, the installer.php and the zip that I used Duplicator for. So it's pretty straightforward. I'm just going to change the end of this to installer.php, and it will launch that file, and we can continue. So I'm just going to slide over and you'll see. So I see here this is actually hooked in somewhere, and it's still pointing to the old IP address on my local machine. So I'll flush the DNS. You don't have to do this. You can just wait 5, 10 minutes, half an hour for the DNS to kick over, but I'm just in a hurry, so I'm going to flush it and see if we can get this to go up a little faster. Bingo, there it is. Okay, so that is my new IP, so I know that this should now come up if I just refresh this page. There we go. And again, what that is doing is it is launching this file here that I just copied in. And this file is going to unpack this zip file, and we'll be on our way. Okay, so the archive looks good, validation looks good, the options are pointless for what I'm doing anyway. So I just click accept, and next. Now this will take a few minutes. Even though it's not a very big site, it will take a few minutes. Okay, so here it's asking to unpack the database over top of the other one, and you can see there are two actions, create a new one or connect and remove all data. We already created a database, which we like, with a name we already like, so we're going to just connect and gun the one that was there. Localhost is, because we're webbed in, it's local to where we're webbed into, so that's just fine. Database name was West CR Auto Wash. Username was the same. Okay, so here's the username and the password. I'm just going to pull out of my file here. There we go. Boom. Just click test database. Look, it's success, it's happy. Next. Yes, do you realize we're going to wipe this out? Yep. And is everything here correct? So it's www.westcreekautowash.com. This is the path. Yep, that's exactly correct. And that was the title. Isn't that happy? The options will expand, but there's nothing in here I've ever played with. Just click next. Done. So now I click site login, and we're at the last step. There it is. Now at the top here, this is what you need to do. There's basically a whole bunch of installation files, including that packed file and the installer file that need to be deleted. So just before I do that, if I bring over the FTP again, let's expand it, and I'll show you. If I refresh this, you'll see now that the duplicator has done all of the work, but it has left these files behind, which is not a good thing. So they need to go. So let's go remove installation files. Bye-bye. Done. Now for me, I don't like extra plugins around, so I'm going in here now, and I'm going to deactivate Duplicator because I'm done with it. I'll probably just uninstall it shortly. That's it, boys and girls. Now when I go to westcreekautowash.com, it's up. Isn't that nice? That's on the new server. So that's as hard as it was. Not very rocket sciencey, not very challenging. If you have any questions, please get a hold of us at www.urtech.ca. Thank you. Bye-bye.